Hi guys, my name is Joe and my channel is Fighting Words, the martial arts library. And normally I talk about martial arts book reviews. This week I decided to do something a little bit different. Hand wraps. I'm going to show you guys how I prefer to wrap my hands. I would say this is especially pertinent to people who are just beginning to do any sort of exercise like this. You know, if you're like, I'll just buy some gloves and go punch the bag down at the gym, you know, and you don't have any formal training, get yourself some hand wraps and learn how to wrap your hands. Because if you don't, you can injure your wrist. You can injure the small connective tissue in your hand. So again, highly suggest wrapping up your hands before you do any kind of punching exercises. So the key to this style of glove, there's a little tag here. That tag should be facing the wrist or the back of your hand. The way I typically start off is I wrap around the wrist twice, move up close to where it connects to the hand. From there, I go across the back of the hand, loop around the knuckles once. Now, I am spreading my fingers out a little bit for the next part. And from there, I'm going to go from the pinky to the root, if you will, of the thumb. And my cat is attacking this, and she's going to get pulled off the table. So from there, I go from the thumb in between the baby and ring fingers, back to the thumb, which we are sort of going to use as an anchor point, back up through and in between the ring and middle finger, and coming back to thumb, going up between the index and middle fingers, looping around back to the thumb, and finally I'm going to loop around the thumb once. Now this doesn't need to be tight, but it should be firm. You don't want to lose circulation in your fingers. So I've looped around the thumb once. I'm actually going to go back across the back of the hand and wrap the knuckles, kitty, once. And from there, I'm going to go across the palm and just finish up right at the wrist, because wrist support is actually a really important part of this process. Most of the injuries I've seen when you're hitting things like focus mitts and bags actually happens at the wrist when it folds. Now, of course, there are exercises like, you know, knuckle push-ups, for instance, that you can use to help strengthen the wrist. But think of it as sort of like a back brace if you're going to lift heavy weights. So that's the purpose of this wrap. And I have used it to sort of reinforce the knuckles, and by going in between the fingers, I think it adds a little bit more support to the soft tissue in there. And anyway, I'm going to show you a different angle from underneath. It's going to look funny, but so you guys can better see, and a more close-up angle of what I'm going to do down here. So this is going to be a different angle. Remember, we need to have the tag side facing down if we want the Velcro to go on correctly. So again, once and twice around the wrists, and go across the back of the hand to the root of the ring finger, across the knuckles, back down to the root of the thumb. And my cat's playing with the thing. Okay. So from there, I'm going to go across to begin looping them around the fingers. This goes in between the baby finger, the ring finger, back over to the thumb, in between the ring finger and the middle finger, back over to the thumb, because we're using the thumb as sort of an anchor point for these. Between the ring finger, or the middle finger, and the index finger. And once we're down here, make a loop around the thumb. Try to get it closer to the base. You don't need to include this joint in it. From there, once more across the back of the hand, across the bottom of the hand and around the knuckles. Then we come down, just finish up at the wrists. And because I had the tag facing down on the thumb loop, the Velcro fits nicely. So anyway, that's going to be about it for this week. You know, just a short little video. I would recommend, again, if you are just getting into any kind of hitting the bag, hitting pads, definitely wrap up your hand. I actually prefer the fingerless bag gloves to go over top of these. The ones that extend down a little bit below these knuckles, because my knuckles are actually calloused from hitting a bag with MMA gloves that only came down to here and just got torn up over the years. Anyway, I do prefer those over a standard boxing glove, because you can't really make a good fist in a boxing glove. It winds up being sort of loose. So yeah, that's what I would recommend. And I hope this has been helpful, and let me know if it has. Thank you very much.